And so we want to just take a look at a few and see if we can mess around with these and figure out if these are polynomials or not. And it's not really a tricky thing to do as long as you remember there's three things that we talked about earlier. So the things that we were always looking for, and we can label these if we want to. We'll look at A. The things that we're always looking for is we're looking for things that are bad, or we're looking for things that will make it not a polynomial. So the things that will make it not a polynomial, we look at the coefficients. Are the coefficients all real? If they're real, then we know they're good. We look at the exponents. Are the exponents negative? If the exponents are negative, it's not a polynomial. And then we look at the operators, things that are happening to the variable. And the two that we're looking at that would make it not a polynomial would be division and radicals. So we're going to look at A, and we see in A that there's a -1, so this is not a polynomial because it has a -1 exponent. The next one here, B, we see that all of the coefficients are real. Everything's a plus. We've got a multiplication, we've got addition, nothing really else going on there. So that's not a problem. And then we see that we've got a +2 as an exponent, so there are no problems, so this is a polynomial. Then we look at C, and we see that we've got, again, 1/4 is still a real number. It's not pretty, but it's real. We've got a 1 coefficient here, which of course is real. And here there is no coefficient. There would be a 1 there also if we had to. So the coefficients are all good. This is a number. It's the square root of 2. And the square root of 2 is a real number. It's not a pretty number, but it is a real number. Remember, that goes in a special area. Think about what it was. Let's go back to the exponents. There's only one exponent. It's a 2. It's positive, so that's good. And what's going on between anything? Well, all we've got is multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So there's no problems with that either. Did you remember what this is? The set of irrational numbers, still in the set of reals, just over off in their own set all by themselves. So everything works, so it is a polynomial. And now we'll look at the next one here, D. Again, we look at the coefficients. The coefficients are actually all 1 in this one, so obviously those are all real. We see that we've only got one exponent. That exponent is a positive, so that's fine. And then we look at what's going on between everything. What are the operations? And we see that we have multiplication, we see we've got addition, we see we've got subtraction, but we also see that we've got this radical over here. And this is where our problem starts to come in. And we've got to really be able to tell the difference between C and D. And the idea is the radical isn't the problem. It's when you've got a variable under the radical, that's what makes it a problem. So this is not a polynomial. Again, we look at these last two, we'll call them E and F, and hopefully you can see that they are similar also. They're both set up to look like fractions. We can look at them and hopefully kind of tell what's different about them, but I'm going to look at F first, and we see that we've got multiplication, addition. We see that there's no literally no exponents in any part of this. There are also no coefficients, so we know that those coefficients are 1. So there's no problems with those, but what we do have to look at, again, are what are the operations. So we see that we've got something divided by 3. So divided by 3. Well, 3 is a number, it's not a variable. So this is okay. So this is a polynomial. All the same stuff that we just said apply to E, except for this. And this is dividing by Z. So this is dividing by a variable. That's one of the things that makes it not a polynomial. So this is not a polynomial. So keep in mind when you're trying to identify if it's a polynomial or not, you're just really looking for the things that it can't be, and then pretty much everything else is. So it makes it nice and easy. The other thing that you kind of want to remember here is that in this class, we're pretty much going to be given everything. It's going to be a polynomial, or they're going to tell us one way or the other. It's when you get further on in higher math classes that this is going to be one of the first things that you have to do. You have to make this determination. Is it a polynomial or is it not? If it is a polynomial, you'll do one thing. If it's not, you do something else.